Didn't want to renumber our sheets up here. Waste a lot of ink. We're getting set to go. Beautiful field of competitors coming in. If you're joining us for the first time out here, maybe missed yesterday's racing action or last night's racing action during Friday Night Lightning, we had 616 entries, I think was the final number on that. So 616 or 612. Naturally, my mind is failing me as I get older, but it was right there in that neighborhood. Coming out, we had 35 entries for the WSC. We had the Woodies Dash for Cash last night, set our pole position. Sabrina Blanchette out of Canada, out of Drummondville, Quebec. Picking up the win last night, will be on the pole position for the 24th running of the Vintage World Championship Snowmobile Races, or Vintage World Championship, here at the World Championship Derby Complex. Todd's down there. He's got his brake gloves on again. He's ready to rock and roll. It's the only thing you can see on the ice because he's in his camo too, but that's beside the point. He is there. We know he's there. Well, we are getting set to go on a great day for racing action. I think the weather out here, taking a look at it, 19 degrees, give or take, and it says overcast, but there's actually snowflakes falling from the sky. And I think, looking ahead on the weather, we're going to have a snowstorm start today, and it's going to go through Sunday. And I said this morning, it's just not ice over racing if you don't have little snowflakes flying around in the sky. So we have that going on. We have great temperatures for ice racing. And actually, that's one thing that if you are tuning in watching on FloRacing, everybody assumes the colder it is, the better it is. That's not true. If you get down too low of temperatures, the ice gets brittle and chips real easy. At these temperatures, it's still a little bit pliable, and it doesn't chip up quite as bad, so you don't get as much ice dust out there on the track. So here we go, Supermod 440 Liquid Cool. We're going to fire them off fast this morning.
Alrighty, semifinal number 1. Top 5 will move on to the final. Supermod 440 Liquid. Scheduled to be on the track from Lancaster, New Hampshire, the 481, Lucas Nast. From Maple Grove, Minnesota, the number 216 driver, A.J. Lang. From Princeton, Minnesota, the 9W, Jeff Watson. From New London, Wisconsin, the 233, Matt Bennett. From Eagle River, Wisconsin, the 48X, Mason Schutte. The number 56 is Spencer Landry from Brookline, New Hampshire. Willow River, Minnesota, Gavin Mlaskach on the 5M. From Maple Park, Illinois, 332X, Aaron Reuter. And from Helenville, Wisconsin, the 194, Craig Henning.
Oh my! Start out with the big CCs. Supermod 440 Liquid Cool, whole shot start for the number 216, AJ Lang, down into the, hang on to it, AJ. Got that thing almost high-sided. Gets back on that sled again, hunkers his way down the back straightaway. Hot pursuit comes Sabrina Blanchette coming off the win last night in Woody's Dash for Cash, carves out wide. I'm sorry, not Sabrina. My apologies. I saw that sled and I thought that was her. Apparently I don't have the sleds memorized yet. Matt Bennett in that number 2 spot. I was looking at Aaron Reuter. Good grief. Has the same color scheme going on down the back straightaway as Reuter works P3 on the field. Still early in the morning. My coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Slides coming out of the corner. It's going to be a battle between the two up fronts. As A.J. Lang continues to show the way. This is top 5 moving to the final for this event. As Lang sets a blistering pace down the front straightaway. Bennett and Reuters, we got a Red Rider off towards the bales. AJ unfortunately got up on the skis again and biked it up, as we say in auto racing. And your race leader finds himself up against the bales. Hung on to the handlebars and let it drag him up across the ice and kind of controlled the sled all the way into the bales. He might be able to continue on. Turn your attention to the screens you saw full speed replay. We're going to take a look at a slow-mo and getting down into the corner. Lang got a little bit light on the left-hand side on the opening lap and Boy, there he just pulled it over. That sled didn't want to turn for some reason. I wonder if something broke in the front of it. But it looked like he was trying to make the turn, and he hung on to it and ended up pulling it over to the left-hand side, which is a bit unusual. Nice little roll there to get out of the way in case it flopped back over again. Can we watch that again, Matt? I'd like to watch that again. Replay coming up. Watch her at full speed here, just how quick this happens. And right there, that sled didn't want to turn. There was something in the front end of that sled that broke. So good job by AJ hanging on to it there and kind of steering it. He was off the sled. He knew he was out of harm's way, and he just kind of hung on and tried to slow it down before it got into the bales and do less damage to it. But whatever was going on, that thing did not want to turn. So tough break. He had a good run going on there and was definitely leading this event in a big way as they crossed over the split last time. It was almost a full second. So AJ's was running first. Now Matt Bennett inherits that P1 position. Aaron Reuter, Mason Schutte, Spencer Landry, and Craig Henning looking to advance from this first race. The semifinal for the Supermod 440 Liquid Cooled. 1985 and older sleds, and top 5 going to the final. Again, 53 races on tap today. While we have a moment here, I'm going to explain something. So some people saying on timing and scoring they'd like to see the class name that comes up. Well, the class name won't fit on timing and scoring that we have. Our graphics package with FloRacing does not have room for a class name that actually is Supermod 440 Liquid Cooled, so on and so forth. It's just too long of class names. But we always announce what class is out here running, and as soon as this race is over, the results go up on the screen, and it tells you what class was out there running. So the information's there for you. We try to keep you abreast of that. But, yeah, for those of you requesting it, unfortunately, our graphics package does not fit a class name that long, and our programmer that does that is in Austin, Texas. And, yeah, there's a chance that we won't get that changed. So you're going to have to listen to the announcers, and I apologize for that because I know what I sound like. You have to listen to the announcers and watch the results at the end. It'll tell you exactly what class it was that you were just watching. So there you go. We answered that question for you. Becky, how are you doing today? Your cookies are almost gone.
I know. They were almost gone on Thursday.
I got news for you. They're going to be gone today. You'll be able to take this container back with you and wash it out and take it home.
Yeah, I'll put on top of all the other empty ones.
I don't think she can refill it. I think they're all gone down the trailer, too.
Did you hear me this morning when I was talking to registration? I walked in on Thursday night, and the one, there's different bags that I had brought along and stuff, and I get back in the trailer on Thursday, and there was 4 chocolate chip cookies left in there. I'm like, those are for the whole weekend. It's not even, we're not even done with Thursday yet. So I think some of them have some stashed different places in the trailer. Alrighty, we're doing a staggered start because there was at least 1 lap in. There's 2 laps to go here. We have the 2:33 of Matt Bennett. In that second position on the restart will be the 3:32X of Aaron Reuter, followed by the 48X of Mason Schutte, the 56 of Spencer Landry, the 194 of Craig Henning, and on the tail end, because he was the cause of the red flag, is that 216 of AJ Lane. Top 5 will move on to the final for Supermod 440 Liquid.
Good hole shot there for Aaron Reuter. Reuter looks to the outside of Bennett. Bennett takes him down low. Here comes a crossover. And the 233 of Matt Bennett not able to get back into that P1 spot. He's going to have to follow along in the dust trail down the corner. Although Reuter opens up the door for everybody to drive through. Rider off. Red flag coming out. Another one up across the ice. And that was Mason Schutte that came off the sled. He's going to pick up some parts that were knocked off. The other rider coming up to talk to him. And fist bumps. He said it's okay. So Craig Henning involved with that as well, but the 2 riders getting together down in the corner, and that was the end result. But you saw them come up and fist bump each other. That was just a racing incident. That's one of the things I like to see. If this would be in short track, dirt track racing, they'd probably be up there wrestling around on the ice. But When you're on ice, it takes a little bit of the fight out of you because you can't keep your footing. You have to have a good ground game if you're going to be on the ice and fight. Didn't quite catch all that on the cameras. Might be able to turn your attention to the screens, though. We'll see what we did have up there. Be the right-hand side of the screen if you watch. And there it was. You saw that contact. Okay. Yeah, ski broke. So he had a broken part on it is what it actually took. I thought it was contact between the two sleds at the back. The contact was incidental because of the broken part on the sled. So...
I don't know if Mason knew that something might have been wrong with his sled, because at the start of the race, he did hesitate, and that's not like him. And he kind of looked over both shoulders. So I'm not sure if he knew that there was something wrong with the sled, but was going to continue, hopefully making it into top 5.
Well, that's a thing where anybody that races or anybody that just rides a sled or a motorcycle or drives a car or whatever, you become in tune with your machine. And sometimes you just don't feel right. You're like, there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but you know there's something wrong. And that could be exactly what you're saying there. Is that little bit of hesitation was him like, there's something awry with this, but we're going to try to ride it out and see what happens.
Yeah, he did seem to look over both his shoulders, and I caught that because he's usually right off the line right away. So, and that was just like Sabrina last night. We saw something right away. She continued on. She took second in that race that she was in, but she continued.
Yeah, she had to continue to get semifinal to get to the final to win the Woody's Dash for Cash. She picked up a cool $1,500 last night, courtesy of Woody's Traction Control and the pole position for Sunday's WC. So definitely want to try to push yourself onward if at all possible, and that's what Mason did. Unfortunately, it did not pan out in this instance.
I'm thinking that's what was going on there. I can't say for sure, but he might have known something was wrong.
You have a microphone. You can make up anything you want, and they're going to believe you. I do it all the time. For instance, how to pronounce a lot of these names. We just kind of wing it on that, and you guys just are like, oh, yeah, that's how you say that. I'll tell you a name I know how to say, though. Skellefteå, Sweden. Shout out to the Swedes, who are no doubt tuned in and watching on the broadcast. Miss seeing them. And I understand that they're building an ice oval track over there on land, and they want me to come over and announce the first race. And I'll tell you this, you get that thing built, you give me the dates, and if I'm available, I'll figure out a way to get to Sweden. I'd love to do it. Get a whole shot up front for the 233, Matt Bennett. Not contested this time yet. It's going to happen, though, on this next lap down into the corner. Keep your eye on him, but good run coming on the outside line. Is deep into the corner. Crossover move. Looking for your race lead to the white flag. Here comes the 216 sled. A.J. Lang. Trying to make a run on Bennett. Bennett out front. Hunkers himself down in. Got a good line. There's an open line down low, though, and A.J. Lang's trying to capitalize. Here he comes to the checkered flag. Can he get there in time? Not quite. Bennett hangs on. Lang's going to go second. Aaron Reuter rounds out the top 3. Craig Henning, Spencer Landry are your 5 transfers out of race number 1, semi number 1 for the Supermod 440 liquid cooled. So now if you take a look at the race results up on the screen, you can see at the very top it tells you what division just ran and what race it was. That was semifinal number 1. Now you know. The more you know. Bring out Supermod 440 liquid cooled semi number 2, the Deuce, top 5 to advance.
Alrighty, coming out for semifinal number 2. From New Germany, Minnesota, the number 28 driver, Matt Gady. From Drummondville, Quebec, the 79, Sabrina Blanchette. From Willow River, Minnesota, the number 57 driver, Eric Procker. From Friendship, Wisconsin, on the 77, Bryce Tresniak. The number 3 is from Mishicot, Wisconsin, that's Will Garceau. From Campbellsport, Wisconsin, the 83 driver, Nathan Foyt. From Blaine, Minnesota, on the 50 sled, Eric Ruland. From Friendship, Wisconsin, on the 17 is Mason Fenner. We have 8 drivers out there. Semifinal number 2. Top 5 will move on to the final. This is Supermod 440 Liquid, 85 and older.
So this is a deal where we actually had 10 sleds that made it into the semi-feature event. Haven Bouverette, unfortunately, the Bad Axe Michigan racer, blew up her sled, blew up both engines. That she had the 2 sleds she was racing out here as a scratch on the weekend. Mark Donahue, Marcy, New York racer, on the 88 was also slated to be out here, also a scratch on the field. As Eric Proctor shows up again, that beautiful number 57 Polaris. Looking for the top 5 to advance. I always watch the person that picks the outside lane. That's Mason Fenner right now, the Friendship Wisconsin runner, setting himself up for that arc down into turn number 1. It's a good angle of attack on the initial start of this if you can get a good hole shot. He's going to try to do just that. As we're off and running, Gady. First one down into the corner. Power slides down low, humps around the hub, and we got contact. Rider almost came off, drug his foot. And that sled is shut down. Red flag coming out. Will not score a lap into the books. So top of turn 1 and 2 there for Nathan Foyt. Campbellsport, Wisconsin runner. It could have been a lot worse. He checks the sled out before he gets back on. Is the cause of the red, so we'll have to go back to row number 2 to start off. So we'll attempt to restart here on this second semi. So anytime you bring out a red flag, you got to go to the paddock, the Woody's traction control paddock area for a safety check. And everything's okay. Shout out and thank you all the fine sponsors that make this possible out here. There's a lot of good sponsors been with us for as long as I've been coming up here. And just know that you are appreciated. We'll talk more about them during our opening ceremonies on Sunday. But if you look around, you'd see the banners. And please support those local businesses. Wild Eagle Lodge, I look down there towards turn number 3 and 4. Always put us up every time we come back here. And we look forward to being there, especially with the fireplace. I love any fireplace. You can just flip a switch and have a beautiful fire in front of the lake. And don't have to haul firewood and heat the flue and try to get the fire going. And too much work. Not a Wild Eagle. Another hole shot start. Gady. Uh-oh, Sabrina got down there in time. Matt Gady back into the number 2 spot. It's going to be a repeat of last night. Maybe as Gady gets a little light on the left-hand side, Sabrina's able to get out and away. Back behind, there's a hustle taking place for the number 3 spot. Only the top 5 will move on, and Blanchette leads Gady down the front straightaway. Mack setting himself up into the corner. Top 2 sleds, definitely class of the field. Back behind, it's going to be Will Garceau, the number 3. That beautiful green color. I like that so much. Easy to pick out on the ice. Has got the number 3 spot. Roland and Proctor are going tooth and nail for 4th and 5th as Proctor tries to get himself off the bump spot. Nathan Foyt from the second row, slowly running down to 57 sled. Needs that position to get himself into the dance as he looks around the outside. Keep Brown, the 83 and the 57. That is your final transfer spot. That's what this race is really all about as Foyt goes wide. Drops the nose on. It's going to try to drive down off the banking, grab some gravity onto the front shoes. The green flag's displayed. And out front, Sabrina continues to show the way. Here comes Foyt down low. Can't do it. Proctor gets around the outside. Broken sled coming out of the corner. Eric Rowland shut down. He'll give up a transfer spot as the white flag comes out. Now it's in the hands of Foyt. 83 gets to the inside of Proctor. Proctor holds him off, runs it deeper into turn number 1, keeps Foyt back on the bump, and just behind him rolls Bryce Tresniak, the 77. He's got issues down the back straightaway. Sled hesitating. You see it kind of grinding its way down through as the checkered flag was out up front for Sabrina. She'll pick up the win. Gady's going to go second. Will Garceau, Foyt, Proctor, your top 5. Tresniak's sled just wasn't there for him, getting himself into the mix. But that is your second semifinal for Supermod 440 Liquid Cooled. Well, with that, we'll drop her back to 340 cc's for Superstock 340 liquid cooled.
This is race number 3 of 53 today. Top 5 will move on to the semifinal in Superstock 340 liquid, 85 and older sleds. Scheduled to be on the track from Grand Rapids, Michigan, the 751 of Jim Kelly. From Strum, Wisconsin, the number 130 is Kyle Mogg. From Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, the 624X, Gunnar Carlson. The 52 of Mackenzie Keeler from Ludington, Michigan. From Chihuahua, Washington, the 04X of Ransom Mativier. Brendan Jesperson from Bighorn, Wyoming on the 68. And right here from Eagle River, Wisconsin, the number 33 driver, Braxton Bell.
Yesterday, it was pointed out to me that Delaware is the 4th most densely populated state in the Union. And I'll just throw this out there, that Wyoming is the least populated state in the Union, not counting Alaska. Not that we care. I was just saying that. I just thought that when I saw Wyoming, I was like, wow, there's not many people per square mile up there.
Fun facts.
If you want to get away from folks, that's the place to go. Just don't go to Jackson Hole.
Eric rocks. I'm announcing that, Eric. You rock. He's bringing stuff up to the tower for us.
We'll say,
awesome.
we say this every year, but they take very good care of us up here in the tower. We get food brought up. Triggs Smokehouse. I love Triggs. Which, if you're in town visiting, you don't know this, Triggs actually has a store on the other side of town. A huge, beautiful
I've been
store.
there. Yeah.
But Triggs Smokehouse is what they feed us with up here, and so I leave definitely heavier than whenever I showed up, but drinks and everything else, Eric and the gang out here doing a phenomenal job. And we appreciate all the volunteers that make this event possible, and there are a lot of them. And it's not just this weekend and next weekend. It's all year long. There's volunteers come out and do stuff out here and keep this place open for those of us that like the ice oval racing.
Alrighty, again, race number 3, top 5 will move on to the semifinal. And heat number 1 is Superstock 340 liquid, 85 and older sleds.
Jim Kelly sitting on the outside, the 751 sled, Grand Rapids, Michigan racer. I used to teach with the Jim Kelly, taught math. I don't think that's him, because that Jim lives in Las Vegas. Never know. Kyle Mogg, one to watch, 130 down on the inside. The El Tigre has been fast. He's going to have company. We're going to take him 3 wide down into the corner. Mogg settles back into 3rd, so he gets passed by the wayside. 624X, Gunnar Carlson moves into the number 1 spot. Now Mogg goes down low looking for seconds. He takes it deep into turn number 3. Can't quite pull it off. Gets passed by the wayside. As Braxton Bell is able to advance. Mogg continues his quest to shorten up the racetrack, though, and again looks down low. Now got second away from Bell. Bell shuffled back a spot. Meanwhile, out front, still Gunnar Carlson holding about a 4 sled length advantage into the corner. And here comes a charge from 4th into the number 3 spot for Mentivier. He's able to slice his way on through. Top 4 getting away from a battle for 5th. This will be top 5 to the semifinal. So right now, the number 52, Mackenzie Keeler, needs to hang on to it. She's got company, though. Jim Kelly back behind is in pursuit. Although did not have a good run down the straightaway that time. Mackenzie takes it out tight to the bales, and that was a long swooping corner down at that end of the racetracks. Here comes the checkered flag up front and a run to the inside. Boy, last lap, last corner pass for Kyle Mogg will pick up the win. Carlson will go 2nd. Mativier finishes out 3rd, then Braxton Bell and Mackenzie Keeler will be the 5 that transfer out of Superstock 340 Liquid Cold Heat Race number 1 of 2. No, 3. It's race number 3 on today of 53 races goes into the books.
All right, top 5 will move on to the semifinal. Heat number 2, Superstock 340 Liquids. Scheduled to be on the track, Mitchell Sonnentake from Cadott, Wisconsin on the 509. Steve Chiava from Evansville, Wyoming on the 17K. Mike Warshall from Lake City, Michigan on the 059 sled. From Six Lakes, Michigan, the 83 driver, Adam Lincoln. And Chihuahua, Washington driver number 207, Mike Westhoff. Scratch for the weekend for Jesse Weirgan in all of his classes, and a new scratch this morning, Dustin Furyk in this class. So, again, Superstock 340 Liquid, heat number 2, top 5 will move on to the semi.
Well, that means everyone that's out here on the ice will advance into the semi. run the laps to make it official. They also get to put some laps on the sleds and figure some things out. You know, that was something yesterday, Ron Keel Jr., we watched him. He upset twice down in turn number 1 and 2, and I said it could have been a setup thing. He came up last night. We talked to him. It was a setup thing. They were set up for Ironwood last weekend. He said he didn't think it would be that different, but Ironwood's ice was a little soft last weekend, and that softer setup on that sled is what put him over down the corner twice. And he said they made changes for today, so that'll be fun to watch. Good hole shot start for the 509 of Mitchell Sonnentag, Cadott, Wisconsin runner. Wrestles that sled onto the back straightaway. She got a little wild mully there for a second in turn number 2, but he's got some distance. He's laying on that second position. So he chatters his way up across the racetrack. Now brings her onto the front stretch. Boy, that is a handful of the old Mercury. He's back behind the 059. Mike Warkle holds down second on the field. Adam Lincoln and Steve Chiava rounding out those 4 sleds you see on the ice. Steve might be able to make a run at third here before it's all said and done. So he had a nice little arc down into turn number 1 and took a peeky poo at that P3 spot. So white flag comes out up front for the 509. Sonnentag continues to set pace. 21.169 lap time the last time through, and a 1.5 second advantage over Mike Warkle. So keep her tight to the wall down the back chute. Checkered flag coming out this time for Sonnentag, and these 4 sleds will advance into their final or semifinal a little bit later on tonight with 3 heat races on tap here for Superstock 340 Liquid Cooled. So 1 and 2 are across. Third races out of the corner as we speak. The Yamaha picks up at P3 spot, and Chiava rounds out the 4. So Superstock 340 Liquid Cooled heat race number 3 set to roll out. Race number 5 on the day. Well, Superstock 340 Liquid Cooled heat race number 3. We'll be making our way down here. Here's the rest of them. I was starting to worry.
All right, scheduled to be on the track for heat number 3 of the Superstock 340 Liquid from Lake Michigan, the 52X driver, Ryan Blaine. Madison, Wisconsin driver, Ron Keel Jr. on the 15 sled. From Chilton, Wisconsin, the 404 driver, Ryan Lisway. The 214 Eau Claire, Michigan driver, George Poshton. From Eagle River, Wisconsin, the 29 driver, Trenton Bell. From Rhinelander, Wisconsin, the 22X, Tim Pelubicki. And on the 62 sled from Appleton, Wisconsin, Dale Weeder. Flagman inching everybody ahead, so they're all in a straight line, or as much as they can be.
We were talking about Ron Keel Jr. There he is sitting on the outside, that number 15 Polaris. And again, setup change to it. We'll see if it carves the corner a little bit better this time. Shout out to the cow pies. They're just about gone. Good hole shot happening down on the inside, I can tell you that. 22X of Pelubicki wanted to be the race leader coming out of the corner, and he will be the race leader coming out of the corner with the LT Gray in hot pursuit now. So we'll hustle it. Fence post formation down into the corner. We're going to split the field. Here comes Keel down low, trying to put some pressure on 4th. Only the top 5 move on. And look out, crossover. Here comes Lisaway. Well, maybe not. Thought about it. He kind of baited to the inside, then shoots to the outside for the 404 sled. And that was a nice little move. Will it work? That's the question. They are side by each down into turn number 3. Lisaway working hard on the high side around Pelubicki. Look out, they almost touched down the front chute, dead even across the line. Lisaway scored that P1 spot by 24 thousandths of a second. He's got to push hard there, that long way around on the high side. He got more real estate to make up. We're side by side for 3rd and 4th on the field. 5th is in the hands of Ron Keel Jr. He's got that covered. That's a transfer into the semi. Is up front. Here comes Ryan around the outside. Got a better run that time. He'll go P1. Picks up the checkered flag. Pelubicki's going to go 2nd. Dale Weeder, Trenton Bell, and Ron Keel Jr. are going to be your top 5 from Superstock 340 Liquid Cooled heat race number 3, race number 5 on the day.
We're going to go to a plow break after race number 7. Right now, race number 6 is coming out of the chute. Pro Mod 300 free air, 73 and older sleds. All of these drivers will move on to the final. Scheduled to be on the track for Pro Mod 300 free air. From Iola, Wisconsin, the 59 driver, Stacy Schrader. From Hortonville, Wisconsin, the M36 driver, Kyle McKeever. The 19 driver from Priest Lake, Idaho, Ed Sprinkle. From St. Charles, Michigan, the number 62, Wyatt Wilkins. From Johnstown, Pennsylvania, the 27 driver, Andy Burns. And right here from Eagle River, Wisconsin, the number 29, Trenton Bell. Pro Mod 300 free air, race number 6 of 53 today. All will move on to the final.
Well, it sounds like, unfortunately, Brock Steffen is going to be a scratch. So Steffen not able to make it out for Freeland, Michigan racer. Just trying to go through the database real quick and pull up some sleds. Looks like Polaris Starfire seems to be the flavor of choice here for the Pro Mod 300 free air. Shout out to you fine folks watching on the socials. As I understand, we are now live on Facebook for a look in here at the 24th running of the Vintage World Championship Snowmobile races. We are live this entire weekend. We're live next weekend with the 62nd World Championship Snowmobile Derby. And then we also have the I-500. So if you're a sled head and you want to watch some ice over racing action and some endurance racing action, we have Myra will be with us next weekend as well, USSA Pro Star Series. Pro Vintage Racing is here this weekend. These are all vintage sleds, 95 and older sleds. This weekend, next weekend's the modern sleds that you're a fan of that. But all that coming up live on FloRacing. Your FloRacing subscription is good for everything on the Flow Sports Network, which includes Flow Hockey. Flow Hockey, over 40,000 games, AHL, ECHL, and much, much more available on Flow Hockey. We have Flow College, has all the college sports, but there's a lot of cool things. You can go to the Flow Sports app and download that and pick your favorite sports, your favorite athletes, your favorite teams, and watch it all live right here on FloRacing. But this is the 24th running of the Vintage World Championship Snowmobile races in Eagle River, Wisconsin. At the World Championship Derby Complex, this is a purpose-built facility just for ice oval racing. They do not race cars here in the summer. It's a grass track underneath of it. They build ice on it. We go ice oval racing, and we have ourselves a tremendously good time. Also, yeah, they have Snowcross Nationals. There's a lot of events that take place up here. You can also find results and much, much more. DerbyComplex.com. Follow along with the Derby Complex on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow along with FloRacing on all the above as well. Pro Vintage Racing can be found on the social medias, as can Myra and the USSA Pro Star Series. MIRA, that's the Midwest Racing Association. We are set to go. This is Pro Mod 300 free air. These are 1973 and older sleds. Heat race action for them. 3 laps of distance. Green flag comes out. And the M36 punched the throttle and then spun the tracks as it got off the line. Kyle McKeever. We got a lot of company in that general vicinity down in turn number 1 and 2 and onto the back straightaway. So we'll get a good charge there. Stacy Schrader able to leap out to the race lead down into turn number 3 with company coming to the outside. Schrader holds it down low. Look out! Chattered up across the racetrack. Thought we were going to stack up 2 sleds, tail of the field. Look at the battle for second. Wyatt Wilkins has got it. Sprinkle once. It's Sprinkle. And now the 19 rather, Sprinkle moves through the middle of the racetrack. Didn't quite pull the move off. Down in turn number 1 and 2. And Wilkins hangs on to second for now, uncontested in that position as Schrader continues to show the way. So there's a little move. 29 sled. Trenton Bell, the local runner from right here in Eagle River, Wisconsin, got the P2 spot away and now swings way wide down turn 1 and 2 and hands it right back. And they'll drag race down the back straightaways. A glance over the shoulder there for Wyatt Wilkins. So Wilkins trying to hold off. Bell, Trenton to the outside again. Checkered flag comes out on this one. Not going to be able to get P2 away from the 62 sled of Wyatt Wilkins. Stacy Schrader picks up the window. So it's Schrader, Wilkins, Bell, Burns, and Sprinkle. Your top 5. McKeever rounds out the 6 sleds. All sleds will advance into the final later on this weekend. This takes us into race number 7 of 53 on the day. This could be your Super Stock IFS 700.
95 and older sleds. All of them will move on to the final. There's 3 racers scheduled to be out here. From Wayland, Michigan, the 118 driver, Michael Kirkstraw. The 44 driver from Pinckney, Michigan, Tim Hutchinson. And from Leroy, Michigan, Robert Lockhart on the L25. We will be grooming after race number 7.
Yeah, we go into a grooming break. We call it a plow break. Bring out the brushes, the plows, the shaver perhaps, although the track's not that bad. They may not shave this time, but get things straightened out there. The ice dust gets a little rough on visibility if we don't do that. Currently 19 degrees outside, or that's what it was. Let me check and make sure. Oh, it's down to 17. We lost 2 degrees. I shouldn't open my mouth about that, so chilled off just a little bit. So just 3 sleds in this category, 1995 and older sleds. So we get ready to cut them loose. Todd gives them the look, gets the thumbs up. We're off. Skidoo MXZ is what he's running there for Kirkstra in the 118. I was kind of watching the whole shot. He was right in the middle of the track, and he's going to be your race leader coming out of the corner, at least for a smidgen of a moment. Maybe not the case down into turn number 3. That is the case, however, as you run it deep, hunker down on the side of that sled, pin it down on the ice, and gun it onto the front straightaway for lap number 1. Hot pursuit for the L25. Robert Lockhart's right there. Tim Hutchison, the 44, rounds out the 3 sleds on the ice as Kirkstra maintains about a 2-sled length advantage coming out of turn number 2. So Lockhart's got to change up the line just a little if he's going to run down Kirkstra. Kirkstra solid. Meanwhile, back behind the 44 Roman Large for Tim Hutchison. He's way up on the smooth ice on the high side of the racetrack and trying to grab some gravity coming down the chute and just couldn't make it happen, so he'll give up on that and keep it down low this next time down turn number 1 and 2. But checkered flag just about to fly for Michael Kirkstra up front. So we'll bring the Skidoo around for the final time out of turn number 4, and there's your checkered flag, and that one's going to go into books. So it's going to be Kirkstra, Lockhart, and Hutchison, 1, 2, 3 in Super Stock IFS 700. It's coming up after the plow break. We're going into Super Senior. 250 free air fan-cooled sleds will be coming out for race number 8 of 53 on the day. But right now it is time for a grooming session. So we'll bring out the plow trucks and so on and so forth. You have time to go down to the Derby Hall and grab yourself something to eat, something to drink from the Snow Eagles. We appreciate them being down there. Check out all the fine vendors that are represented. And we'll be back with more racing action here in just a few.
Why choose AMSOIL synthetic lubricants? Because AMSOIL delivers next-level power, performance, and protection. Built in a lab so you can feel it on the road. Run with us. Visit the AMSOIL booth or order from AMSOIL.com. FloRacing and parent company WPS are proud to sponsor the World Championship Snowmobile Derby. At WPS, they opened their doors for business in the snowmobile industry 3 years prior to the first running of the Eagle River Derby. This event has served them well as the ideal venue to showcase their comprehensive range of snowmobile apparel, parts, and accessories. WPS and FloRacing are proud of their ongoing partnership with the world's most prestigious and historic snowmobile events. A name synonymous with quality in snowmobile accessories and as recognizable as the snowmobile original equipment manufacturers where people ride snowmobiles. Woody's is a choice worldwide, a motorsports accessory distributor. Snowmobile and track manufacturers, off-road vehicles, racing champions, sportsmen, and snowmobilers who want the very best in traction, performance, and safety. We are Woody's. Ultimax Belts by Timken is proud to be the official belt of the World Championship Derby Complex. Stop by the Ultimax Belts booth in the Expo Hall and check out the ultimate in snowmobile and ATV, UTV drive belts. You can depend on Ultimax Belts on the Derby track or on the trail. Performance driven, performance proven, Ultimax Belts. At Case, we're not one of those companies from south of the state line. We were born in Wisconsin. We know the kind of snow your grandpa told stories about, sledding uphill both ways to school. That's why we're building machines that make Old Man Winter run away like a baby. Check out all the snow-removing muscle Case has, from skid steers and small articulated loaders to large wheel loaders and more, all with any attachment you need to push, plow, or blow Old Man Winter away. Case, no one will outwork us. John Deere Gator utility vehicles are the official UTV of the World Championship Derby Complex. With a trail-ready lineup, John Deere Gators can tackle any terrain with comfort. The XUV 835R you see on the Derby track offers a full air-conditioned and heated sealed cab to keep you warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Stop by the John Deere booth in the Derby Expo Hall to learn how to buy show-used Gator utility vehicles with a World Championship Derby Complex discount and to learn about other John Deere products like their compact utility tractors and snowmobile trail grooming solutions. Remember, nothing runs like a Deere.
Racers, start your engines. The 18th Annual Manawa Snowmobile, February 15th and 16th. 4 racetracks running all weekend featuring ice ovals, kitty cats, and more. The best show on snow. Go to manawasnowmobile.org or Facebook for details. See vintage snowmobiles, Merrill car, truck, drag, sled, ATV, and UTV radar runs. And the final race of the Decker Triple Crown, paying $10,000 to the winner. The Manawa Snowmobile, February 15th and 16th on Bear Lake in Manawa, where the big ones run.
Trigg Smokehouse. Big flavor from Wisconsin's Northwoods. We've been at this for generations, but don't let the quaint atmosphere up here fool you. We make nearly 100 varieties of the world's best, freshest smoked meats, including the world's best fries. World's best because we do it one way. That's the Smokehouse way. Only 100% quality ingredients, the finest hardwood, and our own blend of seasoning. Hey, it's the Northwood. So if you're looking for that Smokehouse taste, we'll bring it. Every time. Trigg Smokehouse. Launderville Steel and Concrete Supply is a metal service center located in Wausau, Wisconsin. At Launderville Steel and Concrete Supply, they specialize in all metals, carbon, steel, aluminum, and stainless, including chromoly tubing and sheets and hard-to-find metals. Tubing, pipe, sheets, plates, they have all this in stock and much more. And if they don't, they'll find it for you. Launderville Steel has their very own aluminum lug stake and pockets stocked and ready to ship. At Launderville Steel and Concrete Supply, they also specialize in concrete supplies, including rebar in various sizes and grade, insulation, sealers, ties, and concrete columns. Launderville Steel and Concrete Supply also has a rebar fabrication shop that can cut and bend rebar for your project, and they'll deliver and ship anywhere. If you want to explore the surplus material available in our outdoor steel yard, find Launderville Steel and Concrete Supply online on Facebook or at laundervillesteel.com. 365 Power Sports, located just south of Merrill off Highway 51, is fully stocked with tons of winter apparel items. With over 500 winter helmets, over 600 jackets, snow pants, big coats, 509 heated jackets, heated gloves, and more, all in stock and ready to keep you warm on these race days. That's 365 Power Sports, located off Highway 51, just south of Merrill. Find out more online at 365powersports.com. Ladies, DSG Outerwear is your go-to source for not only snowmobile apparel, but hunting, fishing, ice fishing, heated apparel, and soon-to-be workwear. Founded in 2010 as the women's only snowmobile apparel company, DSG has grown significantly over the past 13 years and is the go-to outerwear company for just about everything outdoors related. Stop by Trackside in the Expo Hall today to get geared up in DSG Outerwear or visit dsgouterwear.com.
Hey, if you want to get your hands on the coolest and latest Flow merchandise, you can scan the QR code on the screen now to shop for everything from hoodies to koozies.
Alrighty, race number 8 of 54. We have one race added, so 54 races today. This is race number 8. Super Senior 70 years and older, 250 free air fan-cooled sleds. There are 7 drivers to be on the track. From Holt, Michigan, the 33 driver Donald Letty. From Montville, Ohio, Gary Rogers on the 760 sled. From Coloma, Wisconsin, the 173 driver Tom Jensen. We have Gary Beamer from Attica, Michigan on the 15. From Shiocton, Wisconsin, the B52 driver Ricky Bartell. From Shawano, Wisconsin, the 36X driver James Zierden. And the 6X from Friendship, Wisconsin, Scott Klein. This class is sponsored by Larry and Dan Severson in memory of Bruce Cassins. All of these drivers will move on to the final.
Well, these sleds are a little more spry than what I was expecting. As are the drivers. We get set to go. Going to be 3 laps of distance. All riders will go to the finals. Zierden on to Polaris, sitting second from the inside. Maybe one to watch on this.
That's Jimmy Z.
Oh, easy. Whole shot start comes for the 173, however, Tom Jensen. Look out! No! Red flag coming out. Holy smokes. They got wild and woolly. They got away from him going down the front straightaway. Never even made it down into turn number 1. Yeah, I wasn't wrong. He was the one to watch. I just didn't expect that kind of action out of him. I thought it was going to be a hole shot coming out Jimmy Z there on 36X, and it wasn't a hole shot. It was a dance of death going down into turn number 1. My goodness. Thing almost had it down and had its way with him. So Jimmy's going to go to the back row number 2 here on the restart. That's right. That sled is like having Satan by the horns, because yesterday he punched the throttle on it, threw him off the bars.
Let's try this again.
So he'll go back to row number 2. He's trying to get up on row number 1. There's a nice try. He's like, okay, well, you got to try it. You never know. They might forget. Yeah. So we'll go back to the cone, or thereabouts. So Gary Rogers was going to line up on row number 2 just to keep company there with the 36X. He's trying to ease forward there. There's an orange cone sitting down the infield. That's row number 2. So he just told him you have to be even with Koner behind. He saw him nod his head. He's like, okay, I'll listen. Gonna go for the inside line. Look out there to the 33, easing forward. So we'll bring the rest of the field up to match. We should be good. Letty down on the inside of the racetrack. Extreme outsides, that 760 sled of Gary Rogers. We'll watch for the whole shot here. Easy. B52 Bartell trying to sneak one on him. And we're off and running. Boy, that 36X is a running sled, though. There's no doubt about it. Zierden quickly closes on the field down the corners. Going to slice through the middle like a hot knife through butter. He goes into the number 4 spot. Keep your eye on Jimmy, as he's rowing for all he's worth down the back straightaway. Past third, past second. Now moves into P2 on the field. Gets down on the side of that thing. He's going after your race lead coming from row number 2. He's hot on the heels. 6X has got it. Scott Klein leads him down into turn number 1 on lap number 2. Or lap number 1, rather. Now on lap number 2. Zierden was able to run him down. Can't quite make the move on him just yet, but this song has not yet been sung, as here he comes down low. Jimmy Z runs it deep into turn number 3. Cranks it around. He's got the race lead out of 4. Zierden goes on to the point. White flag comes out. 6X Klein shuffle back into second. 33 sled. O'Donnell Letty running in that number 3 spot. And then you got a battle for 4th between the 173 of Tom Jensen and Ricky Bartel on the B52. So we'll catch some lap traffic down the quarter. Hang on to it. Zierden. Easy. Had a little daylight underneath the left-hand side of that sled. Moves the outside of lap traffic, which the 15, you can see him bouncing up and down trying to get it to go. The Skidoo just not responsive here today. But James Zierden picks up the win after falling off the unit. And what a battle for, well, right back behind. Bartel comes away with 4th.